the reality is, though we live in an egalitarian society and women sit there and say, I want to be equal to a man, the reality is they're not attracted to that. And all of you young guys here need to understand that what women say versus what they're aroused by and what they're attracted to are two different things.
Where are you getting those like ideas where like women want you to pay for the things? Is that every case? Like that's the real
staggering majority. I would say if I lined up 100 women, 90 of them are going to expect for you to pay for the first date. They can pick and choose when they want to be a lady, but you have to always be a man. That's the issue here.
You said systemic racism is a hoax or it's like fake or...
Yeah, it's a scam. It's a lie.
You go into a white neighborhood as a black person, you're going to get eyes. Like why? Like that shouldn't be necessary.
Well, that's just reality. I think instead of people getting mad at being profiled, prove the profile wrong. What's up? Go ahead.
So I heard your comment asking about like women are stupid. Can you just like elaborate on that?
Yeah, so when I say that, obviously I'm being funny or whatever, but
right.
what I do think, honestly, is that women and men are not equal. I think women need to be subordinate to men at all times. I think feminism is a lie. Set them up for a lot of failure and a lot of, inevitable heartbreak. And they're stupid because most of them buy into the lie of feminism. That's what actually makes them stupid.
Can I ask, like, what are your religious views? Like, are you like Christian? Or are you?
I grew up Muslim.
Okay.
All the people of the book, kind of understand that, men are supposed to be the patriarchs, the leaders, the head of the households, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they all got it right.
But couldn't we agree that there's like a shift in society that like most people are equal? Like, I don't think that we should say women are less than us and that like they can't take care of themselves.
Well, that's precisely the problem, is egalitarianism doesn't adhere to reality.
But we live in the reality now. Like there are women taking care of themselves. Like they don't need men.
Well, not really. The only reason they're able to take care of themselves is because we've civilized the world so much where these same toxically masculine men that they criticize all the time, these are the guys that have civilized the world for them. So since we have, all this safety and technology and everything else like that, they're able to operate on their own now. But the reality is, and this is why it's so important for you young guys to understand this, though we live in an egalitarian society and women sit there and say, I want to be equal to a man, the reality is they're not attracted to that. And all of you young guys here need to understand that what women say versus what they're aroused by and what they're attracted to are two different things. So girls will sit there and say, oh, I want to be equal to you, but the easiest way to tell that's bullshit is when the bill comes, what are they doing? They're hoping that you pay for it. Okay, so, and if a woman does get with you, she still expects you to make bare minimum as much as her, if not more. So our biology, unfortunately, does not adhere to modern society.
Are you like, I just don't like, where are you getting those like ideas where like women like want you to pay for the things? Like, I mean, like, sure, we can go off like gender norms and like, like, oh, what's the deal when like when you take a girl out on a date, like, oh, she probably expects you to pay for the bill, but like, is that every case? Like, that's the real question.
A staggering majority.
I
would say if I lined up 100 women, 90 of them are going to expect for you to pay for the first date and adhere to your masculine burner performance to some degree. Here's the thing. Notice how you even knew it. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to pay for it, blah, blah. Like, you inherently understand your roles as a guy, even though I can tell here that you're a bit more central / maybe left because you believe that women are equal to men. Even you as a guy that's centered, or maybe leftist a little bit, you even understand that there's a burner performance on you to pay for the date. But here's the difference. Women don't feel like they have to do anything for your affection. Most women feel as though I'm equal to you, but I still want to be treated like a lady. So in other words, they can pick and choose when they want to be a lady, when it's advantageous to them. And this is where a lot of guys up, because you guys sit there, take her on the date, pay for the date, treat her like a lady, but she's, and then you wonder why. Oh, what's going on here? This sucks. And this comes from guys not understanding the inherent differences between men and women. They can pick and choose when they want to be a lady, but you have to always be a man, and that's the issue here. And that's fine. If a woman wants to be an egalitarian, all this other bullshit, fine. Find a girl that wants to submit to you.
Thank you.
As a guy. Because they're terrible people, by the way. If you guys, I'm sure many of you guys here might have dated one or been with a girl that was promiscuous. Terrible people, man. They'll ruin your life. So, and this is some shit that your father or your brother should have told you. But trust me, as an older guy, I'm 35. I went to college too. I went to Northeastern University. I was a D1 athlete. Dealt with a bunch of 304s. And it's gotten a lot worse for you young guys. I feel sorry because you guys got to deal with Instagram and TikTok and all this other bullshit. We didn't have these problems when I was in school. Instagram was just becoming a thing. But now, thanks to social media, unfortunately, a lot of these girls are insufferable. So, entitlement to a whole other degree. And a lot of you guys are laughing because you guys know I'm telling the truth. How many do we got here that are 5s that act like 10s when in reality they bring nothing to the table besides an attitude, syphilis, and no sandwich making skills? A lot of you guys are probably nodding along or in your head or like, oh yeah, that's true. Obviously you don't want to come off as a misogynist, right, on a college campus. I get it, because these college campuses become indoctrinated leftist camps. But the reality is most are useless, if we're going to be honest, outside of sex. If you remove sex from a woman, you'll realize like, what the is going on here? The only reason guys tolerate bad behavior from women a lot of times is for sexual access. Now, is this every? Of course not. But a lot of them are useless, right? And it's funny because it goes the other way around too. But if I say a lot of guys are useless, no one gives a shit. But if I say a lot of women are useless, oh, that's misogynistic. You know? But anyway, anybody else have anything? Don't be scared, guys. Got a whole crowd here. Got amplified sound. Agree, disagree? Okay, let's follow up. Sure.
Sorry, I got another question just because we were talking about topics. You said systemic racism is a hoax or it's like fake or...
Yeah, it's a scam. It's a lie.
Why? Because, I mean, what about redlining? Like, are we just going to ignore that? It's kind of like...
Yeah, so when it comes to redlining, right, and just so the audience understands, basically it's like, it's a real estate situation where with the prices of homes, etc. Look, man, let's just keep it 1,000. When you move into your neighborhood, it's not a good sign, right? If you move into your neighborhood, that's a very good sign. And I'm speaking from a real estate investor perspective. Like, your property is going to go up through gentrification. It's not going to go up from niggification. And when you move into your neighborhood, property just goes down. And the reason why is because they tend to commit a lot of crimes. Now, I don't expect any of you guys to admit this, but none of us want to live in a majority neighborhood. We're not trying to get robbed. We don't do crack. It is what it is, right? And a lot of us might not want to listen to loud hip-hop at 3 o'clock in the morning. So when I say systemic racism is a scam, I'm not denying the fact that there was racism in the United States before that created problems. But what I am saying is there's nothing holding black people from success now. And anyone that still, holds on to, my slavery, my systemic racism, my reparations, like, you're just... So I think guys need to, get out the victim complex and,
what educates someone? It's good schooling, right? Like, how do you get educated? You need a good school. You need to start the basis at, elementary school or, high school. And what pays for those things? Like, your local taxes, your community taxes. So when it comes to things, if we're going to go back to redlining, what does that mean? Their property taxes are going to be... They're going to be lower. They're going to pay less money into the public schools.
Basically, real estate prices kind of drop off when black people move in, or it's harder for blacks to get access to homes. But again,
so the schools aren't going to get funded as well. Therefore, the education is going to be lower.
Yeah.
So I don't I think it's kind of a.
But the thing is that we've created so many different affirmative action DEI programs that allow inner city kids to get out of those schools or have the opportunity to apply to colleges with lesser grades or whatever. What I'm trying to say is, we've done a good amount to allow and facilitate people that come from poor circumstances to go to college, get an education, get an opportunity, right? And this has all been done through different, programs that are not available to white people, by the way. So my thing is, I don't think systemic racism is no longer an excuse to complain as to why you're not successful. I'm a guy that came from a poor household, right? My parents are black, despite people trying to say I'm not. And we figured out a way, and there's many people that make it out the hood. And what it really comes down to is survival of the fittest. And I know that's a very sucky way to look at things, but everyone's simply not going to make it. And if you're dumb enough to sell drugs, or commit crimes or do all this other dumb stuff, well, then you're going to go to jail, and honestly, society's better off without you.
Well, but I mean, if you're built on a community and culture of, honestly, racism, I mean, white people kind of looking down towards black people or using the terms.
I would argue most white people don't look at, if anything, most white people love black people nowadays. They love the music, they love the culture, they, try to dress like them. Black culture is extremely influential in American society.
You go into a white neighborhood as a black person, you're going to get eyes. That, why? That shouldn't be necessary.
Well, that's just reality. It's a natural human trait. Stereotypes exist for a reason, and stereotypes typically tend to be based in reality and pattern recognition. Is every single black person a criminal? Of course not. However, we've seen via stats and looking around or personal experiences that a lot of the times when people have experiences with black people, it's not favorable. It's not a good experience. Again, is that every black person? No, but they do tend to commit a disproportionate amount of crime, and it is what it is. So I think instead of people getting mad at being profiled, prove the profile wrong, right? Like myself. I'm a colored individual. People look at me crazy sometimes when I'm in white neighborhoods. Hell, when I was walking around campus, people look at me. But once I open up my mouth, speak, convey that I'm not, and be able to articulate myself, people are like, okay, this guy isn't a moron. Cool. I don't think that there's anything wrong with proving yourself, because stereotypes are going to exist no matter what. The world does not owe you understanding. And this is one of the parts of becoming a man, is that you're always going to have to deal with adversity to some degree. And the best thing to do is take those lemons and make lemonade.
Thank you.
No problem.